A big part of this channel is figuring out what the best app in every category is, what works best for you and everything. And while I'm able to do this for myself quite a bit, and I can tell you what my favorite task manager is and whatever else, I really struggle with figuring out what my favorite podcast app is. And I think my realization recently is that I don't have one. So for my money, there are three main podcast apps that I enjoy. Now, I will say on Android, there's one app, it's Pocketcasts, and that's really the only one on Android that I enjoy. But on iOS, there's a ton of options, and I have three that I always go back to. There's Pocketcasts, there's Overcast, and there's Castro. Now, I featured Castro earlier on this channel about how it does great queue management, and you can share clips from episodes really nicely. I really like Castro a ton, and so Castro is typically what I've said is my favorite. I like the queuing system. I like the idea of I have an inbox of episodes, and then I have a queue that I'm actually going to listen to, and I can kind of pick things out of the inbox when I want and create a temporary queue. It really works. And I know there's similar things in other apps, but Castro works the best for me. I also like Castro's clip sharing. Clip sharing is super simple on Castro. I think the videos that it spits out are the best looking, and it's the most reliable for me. Overcast has clip sharing as well, but it's kind of unreliable, and you see that spinner go around, and then it stops and goes to the start and tries again. It's not really good for me. I have instances where it literally tries 20 times, and that's frustrating. But Castro also has a really nice player UI. I just love everything about Castro, and I kind of like that it's from the smallest, well, I guess not technically the smallest. Overcast is one person, so that's the smallest team. But I like that Castro comes from kind of an underdog. It's kind of an underdog pick for favorite app. So I kind of like all this about it. I like its icon. I like tons about Castro, but it's sometimes buggy, it's not quite perfect, sometimes I just get tired of it. And so I'll switch to Pocketcasts, and I like Pocketcasts because Pocketcasts is very reliable, has good notifications, syncs across devices, has an iPad app, has an Android app so I can sync between everything, has a web player, and the UI is really nice. It's not my favorite, but it's actually quite nice, looks really good, and is easy to use. I like the next up, the kind of queuing system it has. It's a little more manual than Castro's, but it's really good. And so I like Pocketcasts as well. And then I like Overcast. I'm actually currently using Overcast. If I showed you my iPhone today, you'd see Overcast in the dock because that's what I'm using. And I'm using it because it's reliable. I feel like it gets updates soonest. So when a new episode of a show comes out, I feel like Overcast typically has it before the other apps, which is almost never an issue, but sometimes is, especially recently when there's new events happening you just want to hear people talk about it. It's really good for that. It has clip sharing, which Pocketcast is the only one on this list that does not have clip sharing, but Overcast has clip sharing. It actually invented clip sharing. It was the first one with that feature, so I really like that. I like Marco Arment, so I like supporting his work. It's really reliable as well. I know things are just going to work in the app. I like all of these apps. And I feel sometimes, not pressured really, but compelled to say, this is the best one. And I don't have an answer for that for podcast apps. And I think that's potentially pretty common among people. So I just wanted to share that because I feel like this is a thing I've been trying to do for a long time. I've been trying to make some sort of video about why X is the best podcast app for the iPhone. And I don't have an answer. It really depends I can't even say it depends on what you prioritize, because personally I prioritize data portability, being able to use on multiple platforms, being able to use on my iPad as well. And from that perspective, Pocketcast is the clear winner. But I love sharing clips from podcasts, and Pocketcast doesn't have that. So then Castro and Overcast come into the conversation. And then which UI do I like the most? And which queuing system is the best? And which one's the most reliable? I feel like they're all so comparable in this way that we're really splitting hairs. And so I can't even say that you should pick the one that aligns best with your values, aligns best with the features you want. Because even for me, that's not true. I just enjoy the novelty of changing sometimes. And this isn't quite like changing your task manager where it's just I feel like I need to do some more work and I'm going to change my task manager and that's going to make me more productive. I think this is different from that. Podcasts are entertainment, and I'm using the novelty of using a new podcast app to enjoy podcasts more. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, but I wanted to share that sometimes, as hard as you try, as hard as you want there to be one thing that is the best, it's not always going to happen. And so that's kind of where I am with podcast apps right now. I think that there's other apps people like Spotify, people like Apple Podcasts. There's other ones out there on Android, obviously. There are other options, but For me, Pocketcast is the only one that works, but anyway, I wanted to share that today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you here next time. Bye-bye.